Sorry, guys, didn't realize I was muted there. What's going on, guys? What's up? All right, so we're just waiting for Rue to get here. In the meantime, we'll have a look at the market, see what's going on. We got some Swift Alpha. We're going to drop on you. I know a lot of you guys have been wondering about Swift because we haven't talked about it too much. A lot of questions. Am I still bullish on Swift? 100%. Of course I am. Of course I am. Right off the hop. 100%. Nothing has changed. Nothing has changed in the fundamentals. Nothing has changed with the team. And hopefully, after we get through this stream, people will be renewed in their convictions, hopefully, in their investment into Swiftcoin. So sometimes you just need that shot of hopium or bullishness or whatever you want to call it, right, guys? Sometimes that's all you need. Anyway, let's have a look at the market while we are waiting. Get into the chat real quick. What do we got? Craig, what's up, buddy? Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Time to get the alpha, 100%. Holmes, what's up, brother? Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Holmes in the house. All right, let's have a look at the market in general, guys. Miria is looking juicy, guys. Looking juicy. I'm going to have to pull the trigger on some more Miria volumes. Volume zone only 849,000, and that's just me buying. What else do we got? Let's have a look at Swift right now. So right now, guys, I'm going to do some charting on Swift, but I'm going to wait for Rue to get here for that. So we'll look at the charts together after he gets here. What do we got? 20328 right now on Swift. Down 2.3%. It's had a decent week, up 9.1%. Not too shabby, guys. Not too shabby. But I mean, this is a fantastic opportunity. We're going to get into a little bit later, but where we think that the price can go. But for now, what I'll say is I know that there's a lot of people out there targeting $1. I haven't talked to Max about it lately, so I would be curious as to know what his updated price target would be for Swift. Maybe I'll have a chat with him later and see where he thinks things are going to go. Soul Boy, what's up, man? Good to see you, man. Good to see you. So yeah, we'll have to see. But guys, yeah, nothing has changed for Swift. My bullishness into Swift is still 100% rock solid, man. I still hold all of it. In fact, if you were over on the Patreon, you would know my strategy right now. And what I'm doing. So, and Swift is a big part of my strategy, right? So, a very big part. So, Boomer, what's up, brother? Good to see you, man. Good to see you. So, boy, what's up, big bro? Just chilling, killing like a villain. You know what it is. Big things popping, little things stopping. We're just waiting on Rue to get here to get some alpha. So, I figured I'd pop on ahead of time and just have a chat with you guys, so you guys aren't sitting there waiting for us. So here I am, and yeah, just looking around the market. Let's have a look at JASMY. We'll take advantage of the opportunity here. JASMY holding 2 cents one. We'll go over to the JASMY chart in a moment too. Actually, let's do that. Volume is so far down, guys. I talked about this morning. That the volume is what's holding us down right now. Holding us back, not down, but holding us back from pumping further. Being Sunday, we'll kind of have to see where things play out. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how things pan out on Monday, Tuesday, maybe Wednesday. We'll get an idea of what the week is going to look like, right? But Monday alone is kind of like misleading, right? Because we refer to Monday as a liar. Monday's a liar. Because sometimes you can have like an extremely red Monday because markets open, and sometimes you can have an extremely green Monday, but then the rest of the week is the complete opposite, right? So Monday's a liar. So usually Tuesday we kind of figure out, in my opinion, where we're going to be going, right? Throughout the week anyway. But again, guys, I kind of feel like August is going to be somewhat of a red month, and so far it is proven to be just that. If we go over, let's go look at the JASMY chart while we're waiting. Yeah, so over here on the JASMY chart, if we go to the monthly time frame, right? I mean, we're looking at a red month right now. Look at that. We're looking at a red month. So yeah, I mean, it's only the RSI is extremely oversold though on the monthly time frame. Rue's in the chat. What's up, buddy? We're just waiting on you, brother. We're just waiting on you. So yeah. So anyway, monthly red candle, guys. Like I said, I feel like August is going to be a red month. I felt that way for a while. I said that probably near the end of July, right? So we'll have to hang on and see what happens there. But September will be somewhat green in my opinion, and then October, November, December is where things are really going to start to get fun, right? It's not going to go parabolic in those months, but it is going to start to turn around. I think potentially portfolios could at least 3x between now and the end of the year. So right now I'm just dollar cost averaging, taking advantage of the situation that we're in and stocking up. So what do we got? What do we got here? So yeah, so that's the JASMY chart. Anyway, if we go back over, to the daily. Actually, let's look at the weekly. What's the weekly look like? Yeah, just ugly, man. All right, so we got Root. What's up, brother?
What's going on? For some reason, excuse me, I didn't get an update that you sent me the link. My bad, brother.
Oh, no worries, man. No worries. We were just talking some charts and stuff, just, crushing some time. I usually like to jump on ahead of time when I have guests anyway, just to kind of chat and give the people time to set up and all that stuff. So hopefully you got some fantastic alpha for us today. I haven't talked much about Swift lately, just because there hasn't been anything in the way of announcements and developments and stuff like that. So it's been kind of quiet. But for me, again, I say that no news is not necessarily bad news, right? It means that it means that projects are developing in the background and doing good things. So yeah, that's kind of where. So people have been asking me a lot, like, are you still bullish on Swift? Dude, like nothing has changed for the project fundamentally. So absolutely, I'm bullish on it.
Yeah, I'm still bullish as well. I went and did some more research on the Draper family and a lot more research on a company connected to Swift called Node Capital. And I was really, really happy with the information I found. Let me go ahead and share my screen here. And we have a couple audio clips too, if you don't mind.
Absolutely, man. Drop that alpha, bro.
So if we look over here at Swift, you see here, Swift blockchain is established, or is a platform that allows users to transact in cryptocurrencies established in 2017. The company has the backing of renowned investors Draper, Dragon, and Node Capital. So we've gotten into the Draper Dragon part, and we'll get into Tim Draper and his family a little bit later. But I wanted to look into the whole Node Capital part. And boy, was I really shocked when I found a Rothschild on the Node Capital part.
What? Seriously?
Seriously. So if we come over here to Node Capital, I have it pulled up here. Can you guys all see that?
Yep, we got you.
So if you look at the co-founder and founder, what you'll find are these guys are related to the eToro exchange, an Israeli exchange. Let me see if you go down here. You see Amos was the head of trading at eToro and held key positions at other investment firms. This is Amos Miri. And we look at Rotem Lev. You'll see he was chief architect and head of front-end development at eToro. Now, if you guys have been following my channel, you know that I've connected Tim Draper to multiple exchanges. Like, he was an initial investor in Coinbase. He was an initial investor in Gemini. he was an initial investor in a Indian exchange called CoinDCX. Just multiple exchanges. He owns Robinhood, that exchange, which just bought, I think, Bitstamp. So there are tons and tons of different exchanges and different ways that could be connected into Swift as a payment system. Very, very intriguing. But now this part of Node Capital, if we go down here just a little bit lower, we see Ben Rothschild.
Oh, shit.
With 7 years experience as a managing director in a prominent family office. Yeah, I bet a prominent family office.
You don't say.
Ben offers. Go ahead.
I said, you don't say.
Exactly. exactly. Ben offers deep expertise in investment strategy and financial and management. As a seasoned tech investor and board member, Ben's network, particularly within the Israeli tech ecosystem, is instrumental in identifying and nurturing promising opportunities. So here we have a Rothschild connected via Node Capital, in which Swift itself says is a has backing for Swift. So very, very interesting there. And if we go back and look into Node Capital again, where was that link? I just missed. We see that Node Capital has connected to it as investments here, their portfolio, XLR. Now,
XLR,
if we look at
I'm big on Forda.
Yeah, I'm really big. Oh, Forda? On Forda?
Yeah.
Okay, I have to look into that. What is Forda all about?
It's an AI play.
Okay. All right, sounds good. So XLR, if you guys have looked into it before, XLR is all about interoperability. It's built on the Cosmos platform, which Cosmos itself leads to a lot of interoperability. And I've gotten really, really big on XLR as a result of what's going on with Swift. And if we look at XLR and we look at some of the funders and backers, like I said, I told you guys before, Tim Draper is an initial investor in Coinbase Ventures. So you can say that he's also an investor in XLR. He also, through his son, is an investor in Polychain Capital. So he's kind of so he's kind of double invested here. And if you remember what the stuff we went over with Polychain Capital with Underdog Research, Polychain Capital is invested in MetaPath, which is also connected to Swift. So XLR seems to be a big piece of what's going on. And I don't know if you guys caught some recent news with XLR, but XLR is going to be used to bridge XRP to the Cosmos ecosystem. And I have a little, yes, and I have a little clip here to play for you guys on that end. Let me see if I have it up here.
I got to do me some deep diving into this now. Holy smokes.
Okay, I mistakenly took it away. Let's bring it back up here. So if we go on X here and we look at EVMOS, so EVMOS is is on the Cosmos chain, and via XLR, EVMOS is going to be a side chain to XRP. So let's bring this up right quick, guys. And we'll have David Schwartz himself tell us in a really quick video. My apologies, guys. I had to pull up here, but I went off the page.
This is a fascinating dive to me, man. This is awesome.
is why we're here. It's what's important. And that's true. But I just want to point out, in the early days, we celebrated every exchange listing. That is not an XRP ledger thing, right? People who hold tokens on exchanges, they're not using the ledger, but they're using XRP. And I'm hoping that we can see the XRP LEVM sidechain. Oh, announcement. It has a name. I wanted to call it Niobium. I lost. It is called the XRP LEVM sidechain. I know that's what everybody was calling it anyway, but that is actually its name. That is a bona fide announcement. I'm not lying. It is actually going to be called the XRP LEVM sidechain. I want you to think of that as a true part of the XRP ecosystem. XRP will be its native token, and it will be able to address that long tail of use cases. And if we have asset portability, I think we should think, I hope we can think of it as part of the XRP ecosystem, and the XRP is not just the XRP ledger. Maybe that's too much to ask. So Axelar is going to provide the bridge for the native token. Anybody who wants to can provide other bridges for other tokens, but you do have to have one bridge for the native token, the gas token. That's going to be provided by Axelar. It's going to use a proof of authority consensus. It'll have a block explorer, and you'll be able to use traditional EVM wallets. It will be a traditional EVM chain. One of the advantages of being able to launch projects on the EVM sidechain is the development cycle is much faster. So it took, what, 2 years to bring AMMs onto the XRP ledger? Let's say somebody said, hey, I want to do securities derivatives with leverage trading and some other weird thing on it.
So securities derivatives with leverage trading, and the key takeaway here is that it's going to be faster for someone to develop something on EVMOS or Cosmos than it is XRP. So this is allowing for people to develop something quickly if they want to do derivatives or any type of trading on Cosmos and still have access to the XRP ledger. And this is going to be done through Axelar, which we see Tim Draper's invested in. This Rothschild guy is invested in. And if you go and check XLR on X or Twitter, you see that Swift blockchain is following.
Really?
Really. So just to finish this one out.
And over collateralization, blah, blah, blah. You could maybe launch that on the XRP ledger in a year. You could launch that on an EVM sidechain in probably 2 months. And it's much easier to find developers. So we have to be realistic. For that long tail of projects, if we don't have a place inside our ecosystem for those projects to go, they're going to go elsewhere. And so we should be inclusive.
So very, very interesting there. And if you guys come over to my channel, I did an entire kind of episode. It's called Swift Blockchain, Swift and XRP. And it does an even deeper dive into Swift being connected to XRP. But this is just one of the connections here through XLR.
By the way, guys, quick side note, I just put the link to Rue's YouTube channel in the chat. Make sure you guys go shoot him a sub and check out that video.
We'll really appreciate it. And then I did some research on the Draper family. And this was very, very interesting in what I turned up. We're going to touch on a little bit of it today, but if you guys want to see the whole episode, it's Swift Blockchain, the Drapers, 3 generations of international banking, business, and policy. Okay. Now, the 2 guys to really take away from this are George Bush Sr. and Tim Draper's daddy, which is William Henry Draper III. Okay.
Wow.
Now, understand these guys, and this is on his Wikipedia page. He attended Yale with President George H.W. Bush, graduated in 1950, the year after George H.W. Bush, and is a member of Skull and Bones. Okay, for people who understand what Skull and Bones is. But understand that these guys worked really close together. Okay, and we're going to make that tie here today. But if you guys want to know, the tie gets even deeper if you throw in William Draper's the third's father, William Henry Draper Jr., which, like, if we got into that, it'd be way too much. So let's just keep to these 2 guys. but I did get into William Henry Draper Jr. on the show that I just referenced, guys. So let's go into George Bush a little bit, and then we're going to bring it all back full circle to Tim Draper and Swift, okay? So
Let's do it.
George H.W. Bush, okay? He was a ambassador to China, okay? 74, 75, okay? Now understand China is where Swift is right now, okay? That's where Swift operates. They do a lot of things in all of that whole BRICS area. Not only China, but India, Japan, but here let's focus on China, okay? But let's look at something here. So while George Bush Sr. was vice president of the United States 81 through 89 and president of the United States 89 through 93, he worked with William Draper III, both with William Draper III being the president of Import-Export Bank, 81 through 86. This is while George H.W. Bush was vice president. And then when William Draper was the United Nations Development Program guy, okay? Now this is just insane to think about. Now you have to understand what the Import-Export Bank is. So we have pulled up the Import-Export Bank. Understand the Import-Export Bank is the actual factual true Bank of America. So reading its blurb here on Wikipedia, it is the official export credit agency of the United States federal government. So it's the actual Bank of America.
Wow.
Operating as a wholly fund-owned federal government corporation. The bank assists in financing and facilitating U.S. exports of goods and services. And if we to go down here even lower, the bank was established in 1934 as the Export-Import Bank of Washington by executive order of Franklin Delano Roosevelt. Its stated goal was to aid in financing and exports and imports and the exchange of commodities. And what is crypto, right? Commodities between the United States and other nations and agencies thereof. Okay, so if we scroll down here, there's a huge piece here missing if you go back to Draper's grandfather or William Draper's father, William Draper Jr. But definitely, guys, I think you should check out the episode for that. But let's focus here just on China. So here we have first credits to post-Soviet nations. When the Berlin Wall fell in 89 and the USSR was dissolved in 91, US companies were able to conduct business freely with Eastern Europe for the first time since the end of World War II. Now, remember this whole thing about Eastern Europe is going to come back up later. XIM was one of the first financial institutions to provide financing for exports to the former Soviet Union, Poland, Czechoslovakia, and the newly independent nations that emerged after 91. So in 1990, here it is, George H.W. Bush waives the Jackson-Vanik Amendment, which had officially blocked normal trade relations with communist countries since 1975. This waiver permitted the e-guarantee and insurance programs of the U.S. companies wanting to do business with the USSR, and several former communist countries. So what they're kind of implying but not saying here is now the U.S. could do business with former communist countries, not just the USSR, but also who? China, okay? Which George H.W. Bush was a diplomat to China in the 70s. So
Wow.
huge information there. So if we think about this, what does this kind of do? This kind of sets the road and the path clear for Tim Draper with his father making all these different connections here as a diplomat and head of the Import Export Bank, which we see if we go back here. William Draper III is making all these connections as a chairman and president of the Import Export Bank. And keep in mind that he has a venture capital business, Sutter Hill, which is now also creating the Silicon Valley in the US. So he's making all these Chinese connections as well as building businesses here in the States. It's amazing. It's like really amazing to think about. So he's working. Go ahead.
The things you find out when you actually do these dives about what these guys are actually into, right?
Yep, and in the modern media or the mainstream media would make you believe, that there's China versus the U.S. and I don't know how much of that you want to like go into, but you can see here there seems to be some type of diplomatic and some type of actual factual money connection with the Import Export Bank of the U.S., George Bush, and China. So let's just continue on here. What you also see here, right underneath that, we have first credit to India. After a visit to India in 2015, President Obama announced that the XIM Bank will finance 1 billion of exports made in America products to the U.S. Overseas Private Investment Corporation will lend 1 billion to small and medium-sized rural enterprises, and U.S. Trade Development Agency will commit 2 billion for renewable energy all over in India. And if you guys check out my channel, I've been connecting Swift blockchain to India and China multiple shows. So the most recent one, Swift blockchain in India. India and China have the best emerging markets. And then a few shows ago.
Yeah, guys, here's the thing you got to understand if you don't know. India and China are two financial global hubs. Make no mistake about it, right?
Yep. And a few shows ago, I have Swift Draper India Investments, VC connections to Draper. So Tim Draper's already there in India, already there making connections, getting exchanges set up. Like I said, the Coin DCX exchange, which is the biggest exchange in India, he owns it. So he has all these different exchanges that could connect payment systems to Swift, that could use Swift to get money through not only to the BRICS side of things, like a Tether type of deal, but also to the Stellar side of things and the G7 sides of things, right? So he could use Swift to get his money to either side if he wants to. And he's there. So now
That's cheap.
So now look, we've connected George Bush, the Bushes, to Draper's father, and you can see that they're doing international things, trading type things, cross-border type payment things with the Import Export Bank of America, through Bush and Ronald Reagan. Okay, and like it cannot be denied that Draper, Henry Draper, William Draper the Third is doing those things. Okay, now if you want to bring into it another piece, the UN, and again check out the other show because you'll begin to learn that Draper's grandfather, William Draper the Third Jr., excuse me, which is Draper the Third's father, Tim Draper's grandfather, was one of the first ambassadors to the United Nations and NATO. So there's more to this, but you have to check out the show for that. But you see here, we'll just read this. In 1986, he became the head of the world's largest source of multilateral development grant assistance, the United Nations Development Program. As the second highest ranking individual in the United Nations, Draper oversaw nearly 10K international aid projects during his time in the UN and the Import-Export Bank. Draper traveled to 101 developing countries, met with over 50 heads of state. Under Draper, the agency's programs grew in value from 890 million in 85 to 1.5 billion in 92. So again, making tons of connections to these heads of state in a UN development program. Max has done a really good job of connecting the UN to things like Quant, and if you look at the exchange Revolut that they have over in England, Tim Draper owns that as well, and they hold.
He owns Revolut.
He owns Revolut as well.
I did not know that.
Yeah, and they hold a ton of Quant. So just like listen to like all the exchanges that we've connected him to: Revolut, Coinbase, Robinhood, Gemini, CoinDX. That's at least 7 of like the biggest crypto exchanges, stocks exchanges in the world, right? Like it's amazing. It's amazing. And I think I made that Revolut connection in a couple different shows as well. But
speaking of Max, he's in the chat. What's up, buddy?
Oh, what's up, Max?
Good to see you, brother.
So so there we have that. So now again we connected George Bush to China. We've connected Draper the Third, Tim Draper's daddy to China. Now let's listen to Tim Draper in his own words talk about China and in Eastern Europe. And remember, again, we have some stuff here on Eastern Europe. Where was that? I think that was Import-Export Bank. Okay, let's go up here. Okay, yeah. So this is when U.S. companies were able to conduct business freely within Eastern Europe for the first time since the end of World War II. And again, Draper's grandfather, who we don't discuss here, has a lot of connections at the end of World War II. So definitely check out the show for that. But here we're going to talk about Eastern Europe and China, and we're going to hear it from the man himself. Again, Tim Draper, and fair use here. If you go check out this show, it's One Ultra Wealthy Investor Club, 7,500 investors. Definitely go check this show out. This guy does an interview with Tim Draper. Again, fair use. And we're just going to listen to this one point and check out what Tim Draper says towards the end here.
The first one is, what was the major turning point or the point of increased momentum or maybe a strategic choke point you acquired that once you did that thing or that thing happened, everything else kind of surged forward for you?
Well, I'd say there were two, because I started by borrowing from the government through the SBIC program, and that was the money I put to work to start with. And I was on their watch list and their dirt list, and about 5 years later, the IP.
So it's interesting to hear he said he borrowed money from the government. You already see through his father, they're definitely connected into the government. His father was working with George Bush Sr. and Reagan. So like there's government ties there, but let's continue.
IPO window opened up and I had 5 IPOs, and one was Parametric Technology, which is still now PTC, the largest software company in New England. And it paid for everything. I was able to pay back the government. I was able to, build my business. So that was inflection point number one. Inflection point number two was really when we funded Hotmail, and I came up with that idea, the message at the bottom of the screen saying, P.S. I love you, get your free email at Hotmail. And they got rid of P.S. I love you, but it spread to 11 million users in 18 months. And so I realized that if you can do something to delight your customers and somehow get them to spread the word, then your customers can be your sales force. And I think that has helped me along the way. And Hotmail was a big inflection point in my wealth too. And I was able to make quite a bit of money on that. And then maybe the third is when I decided to go build out a network of venture capitalists. And so I went internationally, and I was the first Silicon Valley venture capitalist to go to China. And the first one to invest in something in Eastern Europe. And so we were able to fund.
So what was that?
And
first,
and I think that's where.
First to go to China, he says, and Eastern Europe. And we just connected that with his father. But let's just go back again and hear that and continue to hear him say what happened with China and how it's a big investment for him.
Build out a network of venture capitalists. And so I went internationally, and I was the first Silicon Valley venture capitalist to go to China. And the first one to invest in something in Eastern Europe. And so we were able to fund Baidu and Skype. And I think that's where suddenly I had extraordinary wealth. So those were probably the inflection points.
Great. Awesome. Appreciate you sharing that. What would you say is the most?
So in his own words, going to Eastern Europe and China was a big inflection point for him. And you can see here the wheels were kind of greased for that to happen with the things that George Bush did here and his father did here with the Import-Export Bank of America here in kind of opening the walls for U.S. investments there. Again, you see U.S. companies were able to conduct business freely with Eastern Europe for the first time since the end of World War II, and then skipping down from all the other talk here. This waiver permitted guarantee and insurance programs to U.S. companies wanting to do business in the USSR and several former communist countries, i.e. China, right? So huge information there. And just understanding that the Draper family has all these connections with the Bushes, with public policy, with the Import-Export Bank of the U.S., with Rothschilds. It just really makes you think between Swift and things like Axelar, there's definitely a bigger plan.
Yeah, and people think that, when you talk about this kind of stuff, when you point it out to them, they think that it's like it's hard to connect. I guess it's too big for some people to kind of comprehend, I guess is what I'm trying to get across, right?
Yep.
And they kind of get lost in it, and they think, oh, it's whatever they call it, conspiracy, whatever. But all these things are connected, and people like Tim Draper, the Bush family, these people are extremely wealthy. The Rothschild family, they're extremely wealthy for a reason, right?
Right. Whoop, lost you for a second there.
What's that?
I lost your audio for a second. Now I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I think I remuted. That's why. Okay.
Yeah,
so go
yeah,
ahead.
they're wealthy for a reason, and it's hard to think like if these guys are the old adage of or the old saying of follow the money. if these guys are the people that are behind Swift, right? Then there has to be like a bigger plan there. If these guys are behind Swift, we know these guys are behind XLR. That really makes me feel confident in investing there.
Well, this is the fundamental thing that I like to tell my subscribers is, no matter what's happening in the markets, no matter what's happening in the grand scheme of things, the macroeconomic scenario, really at the end of the day, all you really need to know and what you need to pay attention to is putting your pennies where they put their dollars.
Yep.
Right? Because they're not they didn't become billionaires because they're stupid with their money.
Right.
Right. So all you got to do at the end of the day is follow what they're doing and just do what they do. Right. Right. Screw the news, screw the narrative, right? Put your pennies where they put their dollars.
Yeah, I completely agree. And it just gets like really it just confirms for me, okay, if a guy like this is putting his dollars here, then my pennies are pretty safe. And it also flies in the face of the narrative that crypto's like this fledgling thing that might not make it. You know what I mean? Like the
They
thought
want you to
is
think that.
right, exactly. They want you to think that crypto, it might not make it. It's an emerging asset. It could go either way. But no, these type of people are the people who are actually behind cryptocurrency. So when you know that, it's like, okay, for sure, it's gonna make it. Well, not financial advice and all of that.
For me, what I think is that they're behind the scenes trying to find a way to gear the crypto market the same way they do the stock market in terms of accredited investor programs and stuff like that, right? If they could find a way to wrangle it so that only they could buy into small caps and these emerging fantastic projects like Swift or Onyx Coin or whatever it is, right? They would totally do it just like they do with the stock market, right? They tell you already have to have $1 million in investments to be able to get into these micro caps, these small caps and stuff, right? With the potential. They tried. I live streamed a congressional hearing where they were passing I think Fit 21, and in there the Democrats tried to throw in an amendment to that effect, that you could only buy into X sized market cap cryptos unless and they did it. They said for safety reasons, right? To protect retail investors, right? That's what they're trying to do. If they can somehow slap a TradFi sticker on crypto and apply the same rules to it, that's what they're going to do.
Yeah, that would be a sad day for cryptocurrency and cryptocurrency investors. But some people that are really straight laced and by the book, for them that would validate cryptocurrency investing. But I would encourage those people to look at this information and see the people that are investing in it. Like, just because it's not deemed accredited or deemed regulated by someone, all of the big guys that invest in the regulated and accredited things are investing in these cryptocurrencies.
Yes. One thing that really makes me bullish on Swift is that I know that right now their platform is not in the US, right? And that actually makes me bullish on it, because we are close to regulations. We are very close. And an example of why I don't blame them for not being in the US right now is because look at the SEC tried to go after Uniswap, right?
Yep.
It's a DeFi play. So they're not stupid for not being here. They know that Gary will go right after them, right? So in saying that, I think that once we get that regulation in place, I mean, we see as you know, I'm not trying to get political or anything, but we see that Trump's son is talking about how they want to set up and support DeFi, like the other day over on X, right? So if that's the case, and the government does start supporting and getting deeper into DeFi as opposed to the traditional banking system, I mean, that opens the door for Swift to come into the United States, and at that point, I think all bets are off, right? So
yeah, because we just got the decision where you know, XRP kind of officially out of the water. You know, SEC said they would not appeal, and I think that's even a further thing for people to see, like, and like what's going on with Swift and making the connections to Swift and XRP.
Yep.
So yeah.
I'm gonna show the Swift chart. If that's cool with you.
Yep. Let me stop sharing.
Because I wanted to just have a look at it. I don't know if you do much TA or anything like that, but I try to do a little bit for the followers there. Most of it I do over on the Patreon and stuff. But right now, Swift is looking really good to me in this falling channel, this descending channel right here. I don't know. Again, I don't know. Do you do much TA? I don't know.
A little bit. I just, only thing I use really are the EMAs and RSI.
Yeah. So for me, yeah, I mean, I thought I had the RSI up. I guess I dropped it off. Anyways, looking at it like this, like I said, we're in a descending channel right now, and these generally break to the upside, right? So, yep. I mean, I think you're going to break back up. You have a strong resistance level up here, obviously, right? It's been active in the past, up here, right? Over here, here, who knows, maybe further back, but it's a strong level anyway. So I think that we are soon going to see a break to that, you know, back up to that 206 level, which was beautiful. The last time we ran there, what was it, like 3 months ago or something like that? We were, you know, we were down here, and boom, like my portfolio exploded because I have a lot of Swift, and I thought I was done accumulating Swift, but to be honest with you, I've started to reaccumulate again, right? So, you know, it's just, I feel like right now what I'm trying to do is, you know, lower my exit price points, right?
Yep.
So let's see what we got in the chat here. Fact says the problem with Uniswap is they claim they're decentralized, but yet they can hold and stop trading like they did, with NXRA recently. Yeah, NXRA had like a couple of exploits in the same day or something, I think, right?
Yeah, they did, which is crazy because that's their second time doing that. It's like you would think with the people they claim to work with, Quant and all these different people, like what's going on over there?
Yeah, and that's the thing, is that I was really bullish on NXRA. I held some for a while, made some money. I mean, I sold. I don't hold now, but I was bullish on the project moving forward, and now I'm like, you know, they were saying it wasn't their smart contracts, and you know, like now I'm hearing that it was their smart contracts. So there's still some questions in the air, but facts over feelings says if it's truly decentralized, then you can't hold or stop it. I mean, you could say the same thing about Solana, really, right?
Yeah, and you get into the thing of like, do you really want it to be fully decentralized? Because when you look at the hack that happened with KASPA and the hack that happened with, or Casper, excuse me, and the hack that happened with Hedera, the fact that they weren't fully decentralized actually stopped them from losing a lot of money.
Yeah.
So
this is true. And same thing with Solana. You could make the same argument. Like every time their network goes down, it's, oh, we'll fix it. Well, who the fuck is we?
Yep.
I thought you were decentralized, right? But I mean, I agree with you that it's not entirely to not be entirely decentralized is not necessarily a terrible thing, right? There has to be some sort of guardrails in place, some sort of some sort of way to stop the bleeding, so to speak, on a project, because otherwise the project's just dead at that point. If you get any kind of an exploit, it's just might as well, everyone's wrecked, I guess, right?
Right. And then it's like, you know, even if a project is kind of fully decentralized, quote unquote, like what type of on ramp did you use to get money into the project? So it's like, can you really say that anything's fully decentralized because you still need to have on ramps into the project?
Yeah, exactly. For now, anyway, for now,
Yeah.
right? I mean, I know that crypto is, and this is another thing I think that people are not taking as seriously or don't find it as important as I feel that it is the user friendly aspect, and that's another reason I like Swift so much, is that it's so user friendly as a swap, right? As opposed to, because I mean, look at this right now. Like I could go. I mean, I'm not logged in, but I could go over to. We've all seen the setting what it looks like to set your buy and sell alerts and stuff like that, right? And for someone who's never done that before, that it's like reading Japanese on your screen, right? What the hell am I supposed to do? And it's not user friendly. So for swaps like Swift to be out there and just simple conversions, right? To simplify it, that's going to help onboard a very large percentage of retail that's not tech savvy, in my opinion.
Yeah, and the thing I like too about it is that it's connecting like quote unquote two different worlds of money. You got the whole BRIC side of money and the whole G7 side of money, and it connects both. So if I'm somebody like a Tim Draper or like another billionaire or millionaire, and I really need to get my money from point A to point B, no matter what, G7 or BRICS, I can use Swift to do that.
Yeah,
very quickly.
Yeah, very fast. That's exactly it, right? And the connections. So I got to ask you this. Now, I'm not going to ask for an exact number, so just give me a range. And guys, understand it's not financial advice and all that stuff, right? Where do you see Swift going in this bull run? In a range?
If I were to give a range, I would say somewhere between 30 to 40 something cents.
Yeah.
And that's just very conservative.
And I like that. I like that you're conservative, because I'm the same way. I would rather give a lower price and have that price be wrong and it goes higher than give a high price. People are pissed off at you, right? I get it, man. I get it. But yeah, that's exact. I would agree with that conservatively, right? I know a lot of people have their eyes set on a dollar, and I look back at what happened. I always use Dogecoin as an example. Everyone was convinced it was going to $1, right? Like 73 cents and then bust, right?
Yep.
So that's why for me, I front run the markets personally. This is what I do with my portfolio, is I buy more of a project than I normally would so that I can exit sooner than everybody else. Because if I have an exit point at 20 cents, 25 cents, everyone's still screaming $1 at that point, and they're YOLOing in and they're DCing and they're buying my sell orders like crazy, right? I walk away with my $1 million in Swift. I'm happy, right? And they can all fight over $1, right?
Completely agreed.
Yeah, that's what I do with all my projects. I front run. I buy more than I should, or not than I should, but more than you would think, so that I can leave earlier than everybody else, right? So if the bull run is, if the parabolic part of the bull run is 6 months long, if I can leave 2 months into that 6 months and get the financial goal that I had in place, shit, I'm happy. I don't care where it goes after that. It could keep climbing to $5 after that. I made my goal, my target.
Yep.
I'll just buy more in the next bear market, right?
Yep, and all the stress is off.
Yeah. Well, exactly. Everyone else is going nuts, and the stress, and they're reading the charts, and it's red, it's falling, it's crashing. I'm like, shit, I got out a long time ago. So yeah, absolutely, that's the plan. But I'm definitely, to answer the question that everyone keeps asking me, my conviction in Swift has not changed at all. I always say, as long as the fundamentals haven't changed, the team hasn't changed, the tech hasn't changed, just because you haven't heard any news about it lately doesn't mean you should be losing. That tells me you should have the same conviction in it 3 months later than you did when you bought it.
Yep. Yep. And if you've done the research, you got to really like trust it. Like I cannot tell you, like when you look at coin like LCX, which I have a lot of videos on my channel about, like I knew, you know, forum related, you know, they're members of the forum, you know, and people know what I'm talking about when I'm saying the forum. So like I knew like, okay, these guys might be at this low market cap or whatever right now. But I know what's in store for these guys because they're members of the forum. They're being the guinea pig for all these MiCA laws that Europe is trying to get put in place for crypto. So they're going to be front runners in the MiCA laws. So, you know, when it went to like, you know, almost 35 cents after being at like 4 cents, I was not surprised.
Yep. It's in the meantime, I'm just going to continue to stuff my bags as much as I can, and lower my exit price points. That's the plan, man. Like I said, unless like I take Gala as an example. Now I recently read that Gala is actually moving away from Web3 gaming now. The Web3 gaming parts of their team are leaving the project, so they've decided to step away from Web3 gaming. Okay, well that's like 1/3 of your project's, you know, like narrative. Now you have Gala Music and Gala Film, which were just good fillers before. Web3 gaming was your, you know, your right? If you're stepping away from that, what the hell are you at this point now, right?
Ooh,
So
yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, that's crazy to think about.
yeah, so for me, that is an example of when you should be worried about a project because
yeah,
the fundamentals have now changed of the project and part of the team left, right? So
yeah,
that's when you should be scared, not because you haven't heard anything.
yeah.
So yeah. But I guess maybe we'll leave it there, brother. I got to get ready to head out. Got to drive my son somewhere. So as always, man, I appreciate you coming on the channel. Guys, I'm putting the link to his channel in the chat once again. Make sure you guys go shoot him a sub. I'm telling you guys, you're not going to be disappointed with a lot of the alpha that gets dropped over there. And what was the video? What's the name of the video you were just talking about?
It is called, let me bring it up here. Swift Blockchain, the Drapers, 3 generations of international banking, business, and policy.
Guys, you've got to go check that video out. If you want the rest of the alpha, I mean, he can't drop it all, right? He's got to save some for himself. Come on now, guys, right? So go over there, shoot him a sub, watch the video. I think if you're having a problem, and I know some of you guys are, because you message me, if you're having issues with your conviction in Swift, and you need constant updates on the project, you want to go shoot a sub over to Rue Black, and he will drop the alpha for you guys on a regular basis, right? So yeah. Absolutely, just like you guys call me the JASMY channel, he is the Swift channel, guys. I'm telling you, right? Him, Underdog Research as well. Make sure you go shoot him a sub. I watch them both all the time, guys. So definitely check them out.
All right, thanks for having me, brother. Appreciate it.
Hey, no worries, man. I hope to get you on again real soon. Maybe we'll get a 3-way next time. We'll get Max on as well, and we'll really do some deep dives.
Oh yeah, sounds like a plan.
All right, brother. You take care.
Peace.